Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Remember, this is a pause and play style video. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and share it. And let's get started with chapter 1 part 2, Whose Lawyers Who? So here's our first hearing. Here's the transcript of the first hearing in which the other party is present. I'm just going to take you through this, that way you can see. I've redacted all of the information. Black is just not important. The blue is, of course, myself, and the pink is the defendant. There are other colors as well, but I'll have a key so you can identify who they're talking about. So this is just the table of contents, and it's letting people know their appearances on the first transcript, or the first page. And you'll see that she actually has 2 attorneys representing her from 2 different law firms. So again, just continuing through the table of contents, I've highlighted all the important things, and the reason I highlighted this page here is just to show that they're both attorneys are introducing themselves for representation for the defendant here. So I'll go slowly through this. That way you can continue just to read nice and slow, and I'll stay with you, or you'll stay with me. The judge reiterates the last court order, as you can see, blah, blah, blah. Mother would not cooperate with the law clerk. Okay. Again, I'll go slow so you can read this, but I highlighted the more important things, or the things that I thought were more important. I'm sure you guys might be able to go through this and find other things that might stick out to you personally. But this hearing was pretty crazy and a little out there. You can kind of get a good idea of what a father has to do in order to establish rights, at least here in New Jersey. So again, I've highlighted the important things of me asking her in multiple emails regarding a lot of these issues. So a big part of the story is that, I was invited over, and the father tried fighting with me. This is going to be important right here, this stalking outside my house part, for much, much later. But I just brought it to the attention. I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that a lot of these highlights will come back in the future. Like the baptism is a later in a later transcript as well. Of course, making unilateral decisions is her goal. So this is where they try to make the first accusation or allegation of harassment, saying that I'm harassing her, basically saying that me trying to co-parent and sending very specific emails and text messages to co-parent is harassment. And you'll see some of these emails. Actually, in fact, you saw one of these emails in the last video. It's really just straightforward emails trying to confirm information regarding our daughter. It's all regarding the child. Nothing really is involving her whatsoever. So now this is where the court gets a little confused, and that's why it's highlighted, because they think that we're just here for genetic testing, which obviously I am the father, and you'll see down here that I actually correct the judge. And of course I'm defending myself, which isn't true. They're trying to persuade the judge to force me to have supervision in order to see my child. And they're making the second allegation here, saying that it's because of alcohol consumption. So now we have, multiple allegations going on. So now this is where I remind the court, Your Honor, that I did file for parenting time and genetic testing. At the same time, I filed for the parenting time, so in the partial custody. And so the judge looks at and verifies. You can see, so he does verify that, of course, I did file for all of those things at the same time. Yeah, nothing too much just yet, but I promise there's lots of there's lots of stuff going on here. So, for a father, for a very young child, there needs to be a demonstration so early. When it comes to legal custody and physical custody of a child, where was the demonstration on the mother before giving birth? But a father has to show a demonstration that he can parent. Very discriminative. This attorney is being very discriminative here, and really trying to say, fathers should prove themselves, when in reality parents are parents and they should be seen as equal, but they truly are not. And this transcript does a really good job of painting that and showing that. See, again, saying that there has to be a demonstration, it's pretty wild. But what's more wild is the decisions that the judge makes regarding all of this here. See, reiterating how old my child is, and they're trying to get me to answer questions. And don't forget, this is just a regular hearing. This isn't actually a trial, but the judge actually, kind of continues to make me answer questions. And if there was a schedule involved, obviously there would be no issues. But I'm trying to get equal access, but they're just trying to make arguments to block it. And of course, this isn't rocket scientists. People have been having babies and taking care of them forever. It's a very true statement. So that was one for me. Schooling the attorney. I was very straightforward. I don't think I'm out of line for asking to be a dad and to ask for equal time. The attorney is trying to say that everyone has been arguing with that. I haven't had my daughter once alone since she's been born, which is true. I haven't had any alone time, any real time. Everything has been through the mother. So now they start, making these other allegations. And don't forget, at this point in time, we are still in a relationship, but they really try to put me in, left field here. And I'm like, obviously not right now. And then the other attorney comes in, and, they're really trying to insinuate a lot here. And of course, I defend myself, and I say the truth. I've respected her, so they're just trying to make it really something that it's not. And I reiterate it. I know what you guys are trying to make it sound like, but this isn't about mine and the other person's relationship. This is about my daughter and my parenting time. And, I've been continuously asking from the very beginning, as you guys saw the emails from the previous, the previous video, the first video there. And of course, DCP&P, Child Protective Services, did get involved because of the last transcript you saw. The judge, stated it multiple times to call them. And now again, they're making insinuations about drinking and erratic behavior and harassment. And, I have to defend, there is none of that, but they're trying to make it sound like that consistently. So now this is a pretty interesting part or piece here. Her own attorney kind of slips up and is like, because she's breastfeeding, I've been asking her to pump for several days, and all of it's more than unreasonable. So she starts saying that she's asking, the defendant to pump because she is breastfeeding, but then she backtracks. So it's a really weird thing that just sort of happened here. But then they bring back supervised visitation, and then they're trying to make it because, again, the allegation of drinking. And of course the court reiterates, we haven't heard anything about drinking. But again, this comes back towards the end of this year. She, again, another allegation trying to say that I'm threatening her. So now at this point here, the judge, they've already clarified who they're representing, and the judge is confused of who the two attorneys are representing, and they've already clarified it. So this judge is kind of all over the place. It doesn't really have a handle on this courtroom, and so he's confused, as you can see. But then now we're trying to make a case in front of a confused judge here, and so obviously things are getting really kind of misconstrued. But here we go, trucking forward. So I highlighted this because, of course, I'm just trying to get legal custody in New Jersey. It is a 50-50 state for legal custody. And here's where her attorney even says, I should be on the birth certificate, which is another issue that comes up later on. And I'm just saying, people have been ordered to breast pump in order for fathers to be able to see their daughters multiple times. And here I am defending dads. So, this shouldn't happen. Like, I'm the dad, and I should have an ample amount of time with my child to bond. It's not just crucial for mothers to bond with their children. It's also crucial for fathers as well. And we're in a situation here during COVID. This is the beginning of COVID, so everyone's forced to stay home. My business isn't allowed to open, so this is the best time for parenting time, and it just happens to work out equally. It should anyway, where I had the ability to be with her. And this is where I convinced the judge, you have to decide now. Like, you have to make decisions on parenting time now. So again, they're arguing that she should just be breastfeeding and pumping and feeding her. Again, just making just whatever argument they possibly can. They're just trying to throw as much at the wall and see what sticks. So this is where the judge orders it to be supervised. So now I'm labeled as an unfit parent automatically because of what supervision means, and I'll show you the statute for supervision here. In the video, I'll probably cut it in for you guys. And I asked, am I allowed to have unsupervised visits with my daughter? No, not at this time, sir. We're going to build up to that. May I ask if there's a reason? The child's 5 months old, sir, and the child's breastfeeding. So because I'm a man and my child's 5 months old and she's breastfeeding is the reason I need to be labeled as an unfit parent. But, you saw the allegations and the accusations that they make up there. Okay, so now we're trying to figure out, who's going to be the supervisor. And now she's got an order to make her do it. This is going to be something that comes back later as well. So now we're wondering who's going to be the supervisor. Would it be the defendant? And so now we've created a situation where, all right, so the defendant, and I even asked, could we have a different supervisor? So the judge heard all of these allegations of harassment, of the drinking part. They're trying to make it sound like I'm making sexual advances on her. And so the best thing to do is to label the father as an unfit parent, and then force supervision for the child, force the father to have supervision, and the supervisor is going to be the person that's making these criminal allegations against them. So, the judge truly enabled and created a very crazy situation. And the judge trying to defend his reasoning. But it's interesting because, they're trying to say that I need supervision because of drinking. And now the judge is misconstruing it and saying I need supervision because of breastfeeding. But they never said that they never asked for supervision for breastfeeding. They asked for supervision for drinking. So, the court really messed up here and really created just a very toxic situation. But he's basically saying, I'm not saying that anybody's abusing alcohol, but he makes it a part of the court order that no one shall consume alcohol during parenting time. So now he's sort of again enabling the mother to make any allegation, and whatever she's saying, he's trying to protect himself by saying he's not saying it, but in reality he's saying it if he's going to put it in a court order. And this is another issue that I am dealing with currently, but there's no need to have vaccinations at this time. So this is a whole situation with vaccinations and schooling that comes back 4 years later, which is now my time. So this year, she's making unilateral decisions. So this is a really interesting paragraph for you guys to read, because this is just, yeah. They're trying to baptize her, and they're trying to say that they're not going to get baptized, but I called the church and I made sure it wasn't happening, because we're trying to get legal custody, or share 50-50 legal custody. So these unilateral decisions shouldn't be made until legal custody is established, because that's the whole point of legal custody. So I'm trying to be, reasonable. I'm not a religious person, but the defendant is, and I'm completely fine with our child being raised however religion she wants. I've always been a supporter of that. So this is me just stating that. But when it comes to a parenting plan and it comes to negotiating in family court, where it's a negotiation, but we can't just bypass everything and go right to the judge and let the judge just make unilateral decisions as well. And obviously, he acknowledges that I have an idea of what legal custody is. It's the whole reason I'm filing. To make religious decisions. So this is what he outlines religious legal custody to be. So this is just me trying to defend the parenting plan that I did submit, which nobody cared. And this is, it was a big resource. It cost money. I put time into it. I had a lot of help, and even now, 4 years later, there's still not a parenting plan, even though I've been trying to put a parenting plan in place. It doesn't seem to be in a child's best interest in New Jersey. If you have a parenting plan, they want you to go back to court continuously. I've constantly, I've documented all of these things. So, all of my emails to them that go unheard. So again, they try to put some last minute things in the attorneys. They try to make it set me sound like a certain way, and I kind of come back and defend it rather well. I think I got much better at court. This is just the first time where I'm actually in court with other lawyers, and I'm kind of alone here, and so I think I'm holding my own really well. But I definitely get much better than this. So you'll see as I move forward here, and show you the other transcripts here. So this issue comes back again. I told you it will continue, and this play out later. But I have there are continuous numerous times in which her and the grandmother, the defendant and the grandmother, are just sitting outside my house, and you'll see a lot more of this in transcripts to come as well. They deny it, so even though they deny it, it's already documented. and I explain, a little bit of the story here. And of course they deny. I say that's exactly what happened because it actually is. During this entire event, not only was it just recorded, but it was reiterated in text messages because it was in real time. We were texting each other while I'm staring at her at my front door approaching. It was pretty wild. So they want us to mediate, and I'll talk all about mediation later, but in reality, for New Jersey, mediation really means nothing. Judges don't want to make decisions. They want people to make decisions. But for the most part, if you're not confident enough to go to court, mediation tends to be the best solution. But if you're confident enough to go to court, the mediator is always just going to try to work it out. And again, when it comes to trying to get custody and trying to make decisions, you don't. The father doesn't have any of the cards. The mother's holding all the cards. You're essentially suing her to get some of those cards, and they just want to give you the cards, very, very slowly. So this is really, really important as well. So I asked the judge how you want us to communicate, and I bring up, should we just continue to email to keep records? All right, and the court acknowledges it and says, yeah, if that's what we want to do. He doesn't want to micromanage it, but do what we want. He said, yeah, that's fine. As you can see this. I'll leave that up to you. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. So this is a big paragraph that will come back in the future. And that is the end of that transcript. So I'll do a quick recap here in just a moment. So this is what a basic court order in New Jersey looks like. There are different orders, and you'll see some of them in the future. And as I get to them, I'll explain why they're different. But the arrears here, child support hasn't been established just yet. This $98 here is for the paternity test, because of course we had to do a paternity test, and because I filed and initiated it, I have to pay for it. So that's why that is there. Nothing else really doesn't matter. But this is line 23 is where the order actually starts. So it says supervised by a defendant and the mother. I was self-represented, the defendant represented by these two people. Everyone appeared via Teams, cannot be excluded as the biological father. And of course, this is the child's name and date of birth. We were told to have parenting time mediation. I'll have parenting time every Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 5, and other times that we agree on. Neither party shall consume alcohol. This matter shall return. So, you saw that transcript and there's nothing else down here. So, this is like the end of page 2, but you saw the transcript there. They came out with as many allegations as they could. I imagine they probably, if they had more time and more better prepared, they probably would have tried to come up with more, but you see that they were making very serious allegations. And so let's get this one out of the way first. They're making very serious allegations, and then they were requesting supervision, and the judge allowed them, the defendant, to be the one supervising. So they, under the guise of breastfeeding, they labeled me, a father, as an unfit parent under the guise of breastfeeding. And that's what supervision essentially entails. That's what it means. And so you can say, well, no, it's for this and that, but that's essentially what it means. And through their allegations, they still, the judge obviously didn't hear anything that was going on, because then he makes her the supervisor. So now this is a person that's making these allegations, which are pretty serious allegations. And now he's going to force them to be together with a little child. Now, nothing escalates really in general, but it is an opportunity when that's ordered. It is an opportunity for me now to start recording in my home, because that's where all the parenting time really happens, is in my home, because we're in the middle of lockdowns here for the virus, and so now we're in my home, and so now I use it as an opportunity to start recording everything. And I don't know if I'm going to use any of those videos for future videos, unless you guys ask me to. But for the most part, I'll keep to the the transcript and the court order, and then any other details that are meant to kind of fill in to help you guys understand. But in general, it gives me the opportunity to start recording everything that's going on in my home, so that I can at least properly defend myself, because this is a person that's making all of these allegations. And don't forget, we're still kind of dating at this time too, so it's pretty wild what court can do. But and the other weird thing during this is that the judge has no idea what's going on. He's like, okay, everyone swear in, okay, you're both representing her, and then he's like confused that I've never seen this before. And then he gets confused again, like he forgets that they're both representing her, and so now he's like needs clarification again. So this is not setting up really well for me as a father moving forward. As you can really see from that transcript, there's allegations. I'm now labeled as an unfit parent. I need this person to supervise me in my home during the lockdowns, and so it really kind of the first order and the first hearing together was kind of a show there. It was pretty bizarre. So please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments, and stay tuned for the next one.